Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be dealing with our third option. So let's clear the board. We're going to be dealing with these names here: Joseph, Judah, Simeon, and Levi. And all these names are patriarchal names, as they are all the sons of Jacob. And basically the argument is that these names are anachronistic because in this period of Luke's genealogy, we're in the pre-exilic stage. And in the pre-exilic stage, these names were not used. So is this an error? So again, we're going to be analyzing Joseph, Judah, Simeon, and Levi, all the sons of Jacob. And really what I want to do is just overwhelm you with the amount of scholars who say that this is a mistake. For instance, Strauss notes another problem in the genealogy is the presence of patriarchal names Levi, Simeon, Judah, and Joseph in verses 29 to 30, since there is no evidence for the pre-exilic use of these personal names in Israel. Nolan says the same thing. The patriarchal names here, Levi, Simeon, Judah, and Joseph, are not otherwise known to have been used as personal names in pre-exilic times. Furthermore, Fitzmyer notes, moreover, Luke compounds the problem in this part of the genealogy by listing 4 ancestors of Jesus who bear patriarchal names: Levi, Simeon, Judah, and Joseph. As far as can be ascertained, such names were not used by Jews in pre-exilic times and represent an anachronism that reveals why this part of the ancestry cannot otherwise be controlled. Strong words. Perhaps the strongest indictment is made by Jeremiah himself, who notes when Luke, in the early period of the kings, names in succession Joseph, Judah, Simeon, and Levi as the 6th to 9th descendants of David, it is an anachronism which proves the pre-exilic section of the genealogy to be historically worthless. They are very strong words. So hopefully that really drives home the point to you that these names don't seem to fit. Well, why has Luke done this? Let me go to the final quote I'm going to use. And this is by Johnson, and he adds to our understanding a little bit more. He writes, material since published by the Corpus Papyrus Judaicum has tended to confirm the view that these names, together with the name Jesus, were not commonly used among the Jews until the Ptolemaic and especially in the Roman periods. It appears that there was a steady increase in the use of Hebrew biblical names from the Ptolemaic to Roman periods, including the names of Joseph, and Jesus. So notice here that he includes Jesus as a part of the names that are anachronistic in this period. We're going to go into this later, but I want you to take note that it isn't simply Joseph, Judah, Levi, and Levi, but also the name Jesus in this section of the genealogy, which seems to present us with a problem. Johnson continues to say, thus, the Lucan list most probably does not derive from an actual genealogy of Jesus or Mary, but should be considered in light of the general midrashic use of the gutang in Judaism. I probably butchered that word, but right here I think is what Johnson says is spot on. That this is midrashic, it is theological, it is spiritual. He is not giving us a true historical genealogy. Rather here Luke is doing theology, much like Matthew's genealogy. Let's now engage in a little bit of speculation, and I want you to keep in mind that he says that Jesus is also anachronistic to the pre-exilic period. Alright, time for my favorite part, some speculation. So, as we've noted before, Luke sits down to write his genealogy, and he really wants there to be 77 generations. In order to achieve this goal, he adds in Canaan, and he adds in Admin to achieve the 77 generations. But Luke doesn't simply want 77 generations. Luke also thinks to himself, I really want every 7th person to be significant. As you can see, you've got Enoch in the 7th position, you have Abraham in the 21st, you have David in the 35th, which is all important. Luke therefore wants to continue this pattern, and therefore he inserts Joseph into the 42nd position. Now, he knows that Joseph is anachronistic, but theology comes before history for Luke in his genealogy. And therefore, despite the fact that this presents us with an anachronism, he puts it in there anyway. And notice what Johnson said about Jesus. Jesus is also anachronistic for the pre-exilic period. Nevertheless, Luke inserts him in order to maintain his pattern. Also note And I talked about this in my previous video when we explained the numerical significance in Luke's genealogy. But Jesus is only mentioned twice in Luke's genealogy, of course, as the Jesus we all know and love, but also up here. So he's not just in the 7th position, but he's also in the 49th position, which is 7 times 7, hardly a coincidence. Furthermore, both Jesuses, this Jesus in the 49th position and this Jesus in the 77th position, are both preceded by someone called Joseph. Joseph here and Joseph here. Hence, this gives us further evidence that Luke really wanted to put Joseph here, even though historically it may have not fit the situation. The reason why he wanted every Jesus to be preceded by Joseph is because he wanted to mirror the fact that Jesus' father is Joseph. Hopefully you understood all of that. And this really drives home the point that Luke is doing theology and not history. Hopefully you understood all of that. So let's go now to our final slide, which is that of the criteria. Is this a mistake? Well, in a certain sense it is. Based on the current evidence we have, it is an anachronism. But I'm the sort of person who always wants to give the Bible the benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt? So, who's to say that one day we won't dig up a scroll and find that in the pre-exilic period, these names were included? So in that case, I'm going to put a question mark because further evidence might prove us wrong. And I just don't like the argument that these names were anachronistic. I know people with all sorts of strange names. That being said, that isn't a strong argument. I just want to give it the benefit of the doubt. This may not be an error, although perhaps it is. I think Luke is doing theology. I don't know. This part of the video is not the most important part. The rest of it is important. You make your own decisions. Don't listen to me when it comes to the decision making. Listen to me when it comes to the explanation. With that being said, in the next video, we're going to be talking about Neri and Riza, and that will be fun. Also, if you've enjoyed in this video the images that I've used, they're from a guy called Francisco de Zumbra from the 17th century, and he did a whole bunch of portraits of Jacob and his 12 sons, and they're really quite nice. I thought they would class up the video, so I put them in. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. Ta-ta.